Crossing the Douluo continent, he became Huo Yuhao. At the beginning, he refused Tianmeng and his identity as the son of Qi Yun, and he obtained the Wanjia trading system. Without a dog chain, from now on, the sky is high and the sea is wide, allowing birds to fly and fish to swim. Trade in the world, evolve martial souls, and enjoy the joys and sorrows. Abuse Dai Hao, kill Dai Huabin, kill the Duchess, and resurrect Hui Yuner. Destroy the Holy Spirit sect, destroy Shrek Academy, destroy Haotian sect. Break into the divine realm, defeat the abyss, and pierce through everything. The son of Qi Luck was replaced, and Huo Xingling from the Sun and Moon Empire became the new son of Qi Luck. In order to regain the dog chain, Tang San casually smashed the soul of Hui Yuner, who was carrying the divine realm for unknown reasons, and captured the soul of Huo Xingling's deceased father to take to the divine realm. Tang San. Huo Yuhao, you already have a way to take death. Huo Yuhao said, destroy my mother's soul. You have died 10,000 times, but it is not worth cherishing. Zhang Lishuan. Huo Yuhao, I hate you. Huo Xingling. Why do you want to stop my footsteps? The unification of the mainland is the trend. Yusuji Yoshiyuki said, Great monster, I want to break the void and come find you. Mo Tsaihuan said, Huo Yuhao, I may be dying. Can you talk to me? Good brother Luo Feng. Huo Yuhao, why can't I find you in any other world? The first bound world, devouring the starry sky. The second world, Dragon Clan. Other tentative. This book is also called Huo Yuhao. At the beginning, I rejected the son of Qi Yun and the underworld King Yuhao, convincing people with reason. Welcome everyone to taste it. Newcomers and new books, welcome to support. Revenge is refreshing, not abusing the master, so satisfying that it explodes. Xiaoming's new group name. 6029650668. Welcome big shots to join the group. Thank you all. Keywords of the novel. Douluo, I Huo Yuhao, rejecting Tianmeng without a pop-up window at the beginning. Douluo, I Huo Yuhao, rejecting Tianmeng's full text download at the beginning. Douluo, I Huo Yuhao, rejecting Tianmeng's latest chapter reading at the beginning. Chapter 1. I am Huo Yuhao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. I am Huo Yuhao. In the pitch black space, there seems to be no time, no space, and even no dimension. A soul body drifts aimlessly. After an unknown amount of time, he finally drifted to the center of space, a place illuminated by white light. The soul body is like a small boat lost in the dark and discovers a lighthouse, rushing frantically towards the bright place. After entering, he found that there was actually a brand new world inside. Then, he cracked open. When he opened his eyes, the dazzling sunlight shone on his face. He quickly narrowed his eyes, wandering in the darkness for countless years. Suddenly seeing the light, he felt a bit uncomfortable. After a moment, this thin and weak figure slowly climbed up and looked around. Mud, flowers, tombstones, graves, and swollen and tingling eyes. He raised his hand to look at his trembling hand with blood holes and even bones exposed on all 10 fingers, as well as the bloody grave in front of him. It's strange that he didn't feel the pain, instead he had a heart-wrenching feeling, as if his body was sad. But isn't this my body? Why should I be sad? Oh, so I'm already dead, and you're also dead. Ah ah. Ah ah ah. The thin and weak boy suddenly screamed frantically before falling into a coma again, as if he had just woken up, but in fact, he was just looking back. Yuni seemed to have returned to that dark space, but the next moment, the scene in front of him changed. In the tranquil scene of a small bridge and flowing water, a thin and weak boy was pushed to the ground, and a young man in splendid attire stepped on him. A group of servants cheered repeatedly. The scene turned once again, with heavy snow falling in the lake covered in thick ice. The young man in splendid attire ordered his servants to chisel open the lake, and all this effort was just to throw the thin and weak boy into the icy water. The scene continues to change, still covered in ice and snow. The black-haired beauty is dressed in a thin and simple blue shirt, with frostbite all over her fingers. She is washing her clothes in ice water, although the cold is piercing, her face is filled with a smile, just because after washing this single piece of clothing, she can weave a thick piece of clothing for her son. Cold and suffering did not defeat her. On her face, there was a happy smile. Unfortunately, natural disasters are easy to overcome, and man-made disasters are difficult to avoid. A group of evil servants suddenly rushed in, kicked over the laundry basin, trampled on their clothes, and ran away. Only a heart-wrenching and desperate person left behind. Now she not only cannot earn this salary, but also needs to compensate for the loss of clothes. Despair and pain have turned into tears, falling one by one. A thin and weak figure watched from the side, and suddenly burst into tears, like rain. Yunyi asked, "I didn't cry before, why did I cry this time?" The thin and weak figure choked up in the throat, because of heartache. Yunyi choked up and said, "Yes, my heart hurts so much. But why do I cry?" Yunyi's face was covered in tears, and when she looked at the thin and weak figure again, she found that she couldn't find it no matter what. Yunyi wiped away his tears and seemed to want to cross scenes to find the thin and weak figure, but found nothing. He stood in the center of the bridge, with a look of melancholy on his face, unaware that his reflection on the water was clearly this thin and weak figure. Jiuhuan woke up a day later, his eyes filled with fatigue and confusion. So, is this considered a rebirth or a loss? Is it a past and present life, or a fusion of memories? Yunyi didn't know how long she had been wasting in the dark space. She had already forgotten her name, or rather didn't want to remember it. It just gave her a headache when she thought about it, but she still didn't. "My name is Jiuhuan." "No, let's call it Huo Yuhao in the future and let me live on your behalf." "But why do I not remember my own name, yet I know so much about other memories from my past life? Are memories still selectively lost when people die? I walked through Huo Yuhao's short and tragic life in a dream world or a fragmented memory world. But why can he empathize so much? Did he personally experience the process of memory fusion? Congratulations to the Traverse for successfully stepping out of the lost space and entering reincarnation. You are now in the world of the peerless Tang clan in Douluo continent, and you started with the son of Qi Luck. Do you need me to help you recall the plot? No need, I remember very clearly. Huo Yuhao refused directly. Okay, now you have a choice, whether to stick to the beginning of the game as the son of Qi Yun, or simply reject your identity as the son of Qi Yun and reject the heavenly dream ice silkworm. You will immediately receive a system, and if you... I chose the second one, rejecting the identity of being the son of luck and the heavenly dream ice silkworm. Huo Yuhao chose the second one in seconds, hesitating for a second, which was disrespectful to himself. He had just watched a bitter drama for so long, and it was still in immersion mode. He decided to be better to himself in the future. I haven't finished speaking yet. Since you have chosen to reject the identity of Qi Yun Zi, I will immediately modify the destiny line for you. You will no longer be the Qi Yun Zi of Douluo continent. The exclusive cheat of Qi Yun Zi, Tianmeng Ice Silkworm, will also search for new Qi Yun Zi. Even if you wander around it, it will not choose you. That's great. By the way, I want to ask, where is Alex? Asked Huo Yuhao. He is not a product of this world and does not belong to the exclusive product of the Douluo continent's lucky son. Therefore, according to the law of fate, he will choose you again. There's a system with Electrolux, no more dog chains, perfect start, Huo Yuhao thought to himself. Alright, the fate line has been modified. Congratulations on obtaining the Wanjia trading system. The system is relatively rough, without system sprites, voice, or user manuals, and all functions rely on personal exploration. Wishing you a happy life in Douluo continent and looking forward to seeing you again in the next life. Remember to give it a 5-star review. Huo Yuhao. A lifetime of 0 negative reviews, right? You asked me to give you a good review, but you taught me how to give it. Huo Yuhao did feel something missing from his body just now, and this feeling was very mysterious. You have a slight outline, but you can't describe what it feels like. However, a virtual panel hovering quietly in the sea of spiritual consciousness made him truly feel that he had just freed himself from his identity as the son of luck, neither a dream nor a fantasy. The dog chain had broken, and from then on, the sky was high and the sea was vast, allowing birds to fly and fish to swim freely, enjoying a carefree life. He took a step, but soon felt dizzy. This body is in extremely poor condition, already emaciated due to malnutrition, and has been greatly affected by the sudden death of his mother. In addition, he dug a grave with his hands and lost too much blood, which has greatly benefited this reincarnated person who even forgot his name. Huo Yuhao stood quietly in front of the tomb, slowly calming his breath. Finally, every word turned into a sigh. After completing Huo Yuhao's life in the dream world, every detail of his relationship with Huo Yuner is vividly remembered. He cannot remember who he is, and he is also very clear that he is not Huo Yuhao, but he cannot deny that he is not Huo Yuhao. Then consider me Huo Yuhao. After all, everything is so real that Huo Yuner's kindness to him is deeply ingrained in his heart. It's like Huo Yuner is really his mother. Looking at my mother's grave, I still feel uncomfortable after all. Huo Yuhao knelt heavily on the ground, burying a white dagger from his chest bag into the tombstone. Mother, let your love be buried together with this white tiger dagger. In your eyes, this is a symbol of love, the only connection between you and that heartless person. But in my eyes, this dagger is really disgusting. Just a 5th-level soul guide bought out the joys, sorrows, and joys of a green onion girl's life, which is truly despicable. Bang, a crisp sound came from the slate, which was the sound of Huo Yuhao kowtowing. Mother, although the lamp of death is extinguished, Douluo has no reincarnation. I don't know where your soul is drifting now, or if it's just sleeping in this pitch-black tomb. You stay here for a while, and when I have the strength, I will take you out. Bang, is another heavy noise. To repay kindness with kindness, how can we repay kindness? I have destroyed the White Tiger Duke's mansion, and Dai Mubai cannot keep it. It is too cheap for the Duchess to die of illness. In this life, I will not keep my hands. Blood debts must be paid with blood. The third sound of bang sounded louder than the previous 3, and Huo Yuhao's forehead had already begun to bleed. The last sound was when my son and mother made a statement. Dai Hao, this scumbag, I will neither kill him nor see him, but I will take away everything that belongs to him, his rights, status, family, and descendants, and let him live in pain for a lifetime. When he grows old alone, if there is a chance, I will resurrect you and save you from being confused again. After knocking his head 3 times, Huo Yuhao's face became even paler, but his mood became more open. It seemed like there was a threshold in his heart, and he stepped over it in one step. The heavy burden of 1,000 pounds also disappeared, which was the true understanding of his thoughts. In the darkness, Huo Yuhao walked step by step in the opposite direction of the White Tiger Duke's mansion. He walked slowly and calmly, every step as if bidding farewell to the past and welcoming a brand new future. Douluo continent, a brand new Huo Yuhao, have arrived. The protagonist is equivalent to Butterfly Dream Zhuang Zhou, and also Zhuang Zhou dreams of butterflies. He is well aware that he is not Huo Yuhao, but he cannot deny that he is not Huo Yuhao. He can't remember who he is, but he can remember everything from his past life. He merged with Huo Yuhao, but it was not a simple fusion. He was equivalent to completing the brief lives of Huo Yuhao and Huo Yuner. He has experienced every detail of Huo Yuhao and Huo Yuner, so he can empathize with them. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The meeting of fate with same destiny but different people. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The meeting of fate with same destiny but different people. There is a small village called Luoyun village on the border of the Star Luo Empire, located several tens of miles from the Star Do forest. There are only about 200 people in the village, but Luoyun village is surrounded by a lot of arable land, and with the hardworking and simple villagers, it can be considered a prosperous and happy village. The only regret for the village chief Zhang Laohan is that there are not many villagers with soul master talents in the village. Every year, they spend money to hire high-level soul masters to help the children in the village awaken their martial souls. However, there are no children with soul power. For so many years, the only child with soul power is not only an orphan, but also a mute. Ah, it's really a thief. Xingling, Xingling, Grandpa came to see you. I brought you your favorite osmanthus cake. Zhang Laohan was carrying a pack of pastries and knocked on the dilapidated wooden door in front of him. He shouted loudly but found no response or anyone to open the door for him. Old man Zhang nodded suddenly, then hunched his body and walked towards the back mountain. Sure enough, in front of a small hill, Zhang Laohan saw Hua Xingling wearing a simple black shirt and short black hair at a glance. The feeling of being a teenager gives people a dull feeling, and then a pair of big eyes are very clear and beautiful. When he heard the call, the young man instinctively turned around and found it to be the village chief's grandfather. He was pleasantly surprised and ran over to help him. Old man Zhang affectionately touched the young man's soft short hair and said with heartache, "Do you miss Dad?" Hua Xingling shook her head wisely, but the mist in her eyes exposed her sadness. "Good child, don't cry. Grandpa bought you osmanthus cake, let's go back and have it." In the distance, a hidden figure was watching the two of them leave, and then slowly followed them. Hua Xingling's beautiful eyes suddenly flashed with a flash of light, and then disappeared, continuing to restore his innocent and pure appearance. Mingdo Mountain Range, the base of the Star Luo Empire, and the White Tiger Banner Camp. A figure was flipping through the folder, thinking seriously. That was a middle-aged man, looking in his 30s. He was dressed in golden armor, without a helmet, revealing his upright features. His eye sockets were deep, and his deep blue eyes shone brightly. The face looks slightly thin, but the whole person has a metallic texture, handsome, resolute, and has an iron-blooded temperament. He is the White Tiger Duke, Dai Hao, who is stationed in the western frontier of the Star Luo Empire and the Mingdo Mountains. At this moment, the tent gate moved slightly, and a middle-aged figure dressed in armor appeared. He knelt down on one knee and respectfully said, "Duke, there is news from Luoyun village. She has been under surveillance for 6 years. Su Zheng's daughter has a poor martial soul, only one level of innate soul power, and her talent for soul guidance is also mediocre. Moreover, she is 10 years old and still cannot speak. Do you want to take back her shadow?" Dai Hao didn't look up. He didn't get angry and said to himself, "Take it back. Anyway, it was just a show for your majesty." When the Sun and Moon Empire underwent a palace coup, all the royal families close to the emperor were brutally killed. Su Zheng took his young daughter Su Xingling with him. Oh, I forgot. Her name had already been changed by Su Zheng to Hua Xingling with her mother's surname. Their father and daughter fled to the vicinity of the Mingdo Mountains and were captured by us. He was a level 9 soul mentor, and not only did he self-destruct his cultivation for his own daughter and to get rid of the pursuers. In order to give his young daughter a glimmer of hope and the right to live in the Star Luo Empire, he was willing to be drained of all his soul guidance skills by the royal family. In the end, he even managed to hold on and live with his daughter for a year, only to die in Luoyun village. I am also a father, so I admire his spirit of protecting the calf. Does the Duke have anything else to explain? The guard asked. No more, don't disturb her peaceful life. Being an ordinary person is also a kind of happiness. Huo Yuhao walked very slowly, from Xinglua city to the border of Xinglua Empire. It was less than 10 days, and he walked for a full 3 months. However, in the past 3 months, he has traveled across most of the Star Luo Empire, experiencing the exotic charm of this world. What he has seen and heard is something that Huo Yuhao, who was imprisoned, had never experienced before. This is a brand new world. Of course, Huo Yuhao has not wasted these 3 months. He has healed his injuries and even made up for his weak body in the past few months. He is not aimlessly walking. His plan is to find a village near the Star Forest and keep an eye on the situation there. After all, he is no longer the son of luck, and the world no longer revolves around him. Therefore, he cannot analyze the time when the heavenly dream ice silkworm appeared. The appearance of Ilix was attracted by this huge energy during the sacrifice of the heavenly dream ice silkworm, so he had to patiently wait for this good teacher and martial soul. Moreover, he also wanted to see what the unfortunate person who took his place to bear all this looked like, and whether he was also like him. His parents had both died, he came from a wealthy background but could only remain anonymous, he bore blood feuds but had low strength, and he had to be controlled by someone in the sky for a lifetime. If the son of Xinchi Yun truly inherits his experience completely, he will try to compensate him, not out of the heart of the Virgin Mary. This feeling is like someone who doesn't know anything and just blurs out their guilt and goes to jail, trying to expose the bottom of the prison. However, as the person involved, you know, and even your consent is the reason for this result. So as the initiator, he still feels a bit guilty, although not much. Luo Yun Village. This name is very interesting. Is it because a master named Luo Yun emerged from the village? Huo Yuhao walked for several days and finally saw a small village with smoke rising from the kitchen. Although he did not obtain a soul ring, his spiritual eyes and martial soul still made his vision much better than ordinary people. From a distance, he saw the wooden plaque of Luo Yun Village. Entering the village, Huo Yuhao found that although the pedestrians on the street were dressed in simple clothes, their faces were filled with heartfelt smiles. It was evident that the villagers in this village were very wealthy, at least in terms of spiritual well-being. Huo Yuhao smiled with satisfaction. His inner anger and negative emotions needed to be cured. This place was indeed very good, and it was also the closest small village to the Star Forest. It was a place of living for nearly a year, and he successfully got it. Hello, excuse me, do you know where the village chief's house is? I want to ask him for something. Huo Yuhao looked at a young man selling wild vegetables on the street and politely asked. This young man has short black hair, and although his face is covered in a lot of yellow mud, his eyes are very beautiful. If you have to describe it, well, he looks very beautiful. Luo Yun Village is truly a place of outstanding talents, and any villager has such spiritual energy. However, although Huo Yuhao politely asked repeatedly, the young man just didn't speak. He asked angrily, "Hello, are you mute?" The young man just lifted his head, nodded sincerely, and then gestured to him. Thunderbolt from the blue, Huo Yuhao instantly felt like he had become a heinous person. He cursed inwardly, "I really changed my mind." Then quickly apologized to the mute boy in black, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." The young man in black waved his hand repeatedly, indicating that he didn't care, but this made Huo Yuhao even more concerned. "Well, I've bought all of your wild vegetables, and I'm planning to stay here for a long time. It's also great to reserve some food," said Huo Yuhao. After picking and choosing, he directly packed all the wild vegetables on the street stall. "I don't know sign language, you can take it yourself." Huo Yuhao took out a handful of soul coins from his pocket, including gold, silver, and copper soul coins, all of which he had earned in the past 3 months. The money wasn't much, but it was enough. Huo Xingling stared blankly at the young man in front of her, as if there was something more in her eyes. She reached out her tender white hand, slightly timid, and took a copper soul coin from Huo Yuhao's hand before looking at him gratefully. As the sun set in the west, the afterglow shone on the two of them. At this moment, time seems to have become frozen. In this moment, it seems like eternity. Newcomer's new book, I hope everyone can support it. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Sorry, I am a prophet. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 3. Sorry, I am a prophet. The village head of Luoyun village is a very kind-hearted old man. After learning about Huo Yuhao's intentions, he immediately agreed and even personally helped him settle his home. This enthusiastic enthusiasm made Huo Yuhao couldn't help but feel that the people of Luoyun village are really warm and simple. After a busy day, Huo Yuhao finally checked into the room he purchased in Luoyun village. Although his family was in ruins, this was his first home in this world. He was very satisfied and pleased. Although he had nothing now, he would have bread and milk. Huo Yuhao was sitting cross-legged on the bed, his spirit drifting to his sea of spiritual consciousness, in front of a virtual panel. His face showed a look of surprise. All of this is because of a call from another world that came 3 months late. After obtaining the Wanjia trading system, Huo Yuhao's first reaction was confusion, yes, very confused. Because that customer service representative didn't lie, this thing is indeed a 3-no product, without intelligence, unable to speak, without guidance, and even without a manual. I'm really lucky that you didn't give me a chance. Otherwise, a 5-star negative review would have been arranged directly. However, this panel is indeed quite simple, and after a few days of research, it will become transparent. Simply put, it's actually a simplified version of Wanjia WeChat. You can chat infinitely with the bound people in the bound world, send red envelopes, but withdraw with a fee, which is a very simple principle. Huo Yuhao can send any item to anyone in any bound world, and the same goes for the bound person. But if you want to withdraw money from the trading system, I'm sorry, there is no pie in the sky, you have to work hard on your own. As for how to work hard, the way in which withdrawal points are obtained is different in every world, and it takes one's own exploration. He still doesn't know where to get the withdrawal points, and he has no idea about the withdrawal strength of the systems built at 10-point withdrawal points. However, the day is long and he is not in a hurry. The first world is bound to devour the starry sky, and the bound person is Luo Feng, which is a built-in feature of the system. Here, he wants to silently give a like to customer service. If there is something good, he really gives it. If there is a chance in the future, he will definitely treat it well. 3 months ago, on a dark and windy night, he suddenly called out to Luo Feng. Although separated by a world, Huo Yuhao could feel Luofeng's frightened and anxious mood. Suddenly, a virtual panel appeared in front of him, and there was actually someone speaking in his mind. Everyone would feel frightened, but Huo Yuhao did not give him time to react. From the high school Luofeng displayed by the binding person, it can be seen that Luofeng has not yet taken the college entrance examination, which is the best time to deceive. So Huo Yuhao immediately gave Luo Feng a set of combo punches, leaving him stunned. I will briefly introduce all my information to you in 3 sentences, and then you can digest it yourself. If you have figured it out, please contact me yourself. My name is Huo Yuhao and I come from a different world. The panel in front of you is a trading panel that allows you to speak and trade. Please explore the other functions on your own. After being bound by the trading system, we have become the closest strangers. My home planet is a divine star called a divination star, which can predict your future and the future of your world. I can sell messages to you, gain my friendship, and you will receive a profit. To show my sincerity, I will give you a free prophecy. During the college entrance examination, you will experience heart rate overload and become unconscious, losing the opportunity to further your education. At that time, you can only choose the path of being a martial artist. If the future is really like what I said, you can ask me about the cause of your body's transformation. I will definitely know everything about our partners. After 3 sentences, Huo Yuhao turned off the communication function. He knew that only by maintaining sufficient distance and mystery could he achieve twice the result with half the effort. Sometimes, letting others think for themselves is much more useful than just explaining everything you need to say. Anyway, he has already said everything that needs to be said. Moreover, He believed that by being a prophet's gimmick, he should be able to intimidate Luo Feng, who had not yet become a warrior. Huo Yuhao has been pondering repeatedly in his mind for the past few months on how to maximize the use of the trading system and conduct transactions with Luo Feng. But he realized that he could only use the plot to deceive Luo Feng. Although it was a bit despicable, who let Douluo continent have nothing good. In a few years, perhaps only by throwing the sea god trident can he enter the eyes of Lord Luo. After the only conversation that day, Luo Feng never contacted Huo Yuhao again. After 3 months, Luo Feng finally took the initiative to talk to him. How can this make him not excited? After all, even Electrolux is not as important as Luo Feng in Huo Yuhao's eyes. He is an apprentice-level slave in his world, and even if he were placed on Douluo Star, he could become the master, which is simply incomparable. Luo Feng spoke tentatively, "Are you there?" "I must be there." Huo Yuhao coughed and said, "I'm not here." Luo Feng. Huo Yuhao, as you said, I did experience a coma during the college entrance examination and had no hope of further education. I have also experienced similar coma several times before. You said, if I understand, I can come to you for consultation. Now that I am here, can you answer my confusion? You have awakened your spiritual and mental abilities, and you can become a spiritual and mental master in the future. This is your chance. Isn't your physique strengthened every time you wake up from a coma? It's all the dark metal balls of your spiritual and mental abilities that give you. I won't go into detail about this, but when you join the martial arts school and become a warrior, you will know more about it. Mind power. Mind master. Martial arts school. Becoming a warrior. Luo Feng pondered for a moment after hearing this, then asked seriously, "Do you mean, can I become a warrior? Join a martial arts school?" Yes, not long after you are discharged from the hospital, you will become a quasi-warrior. This time is very close, and it doesn't cost much to predict, Huo Yuhao said casually. After a while, Luo Feng across from him suddenly asked, "Huo Yuhao, what is the principle of your world prophecy? What is the consumption?" Although it is impolite, I think accurately predicting others' lives is really unbelievable. There's nothing to say about it, because we're in 2 completely different universes, so there's no need to have any concerns, explained Huo Yuhao. This sentence was specially told by him to Luo Feng, so as to avoid any concerns when he asked for the secret script from him later on. Huo Yuhao continued, "My world is a very strange world, with gods that can live forever and never die. However, my combat power is only at the level of the god of war in your world, and may even be far inferior. In each stage of your world, there is only a maximum of 10 times the difference in combat power, but in our world, there is a gap of hundreds to thousands of times between the god level and its subordinates. In other words, in your world, an intermediate war god can probably pass a few moves when encountering a high-level war god. But when our world's ultimate Douluo encounters a god-level powerhouse, it can be easily crushed to death. As for my prophecy, it is a rule ability in our world that everyone has. It only requires the consumption of vitality to make predictions. This is also why I can accurately know the reason why you will faint, and as long as I am willing, I can freely predict the future of your world." Huo Yuhao's 3 sentences may be true or false, but they are basically just nonsense. However, across a universe, Luo Feng cannot cross planes to gather evidence, so naturally he is what he says. The hostess is Huo Xingling. Wang Donghui shares a dormitory with the hostess. Then Wang Donghui falls in love with Huo Xingling, the son of destiny who also dresses as a man. Wang Qiu'er gets Huo Xingling's memory and becomes a sisters with the son of luck. Zhang Lishuan is not a good woman either. She knows every day to pursue Huo Yuhao and even slanders him as an evil soul master. What should she do? We can only talk about it after getting married. 2 female masters, do not open the harem. The trading system is just an aid, and after the first 2 chapters, there won't be a lot of description in the later stages. In order to facilitate reading, the world I have chosen is relatively popular IP, but even if I haven't read it, it shouldn't affect everyone's reading. Huo Yuhao won't join the group, and he won't go to Shrek Academy. After obtaining Electrolux, he will promote the profession of Deathly Saint Mage and establish a true Holy Spirit sect. Evil soul masters should not only be able to kill people to become stronger. The true meaning of death is not blasphemy, but purification. Huo Yuhao not only triggers a sacred undead disaster on the mainland, but also uses the RR virus to trigger a biochemical crisis and form a monster army. Huo Yuhao, the head of the national religion and Grand Marshal of the Starfall Empire, please participate. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Luo Feng, I am your exclusive cheat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Luo Feng, I am your exclusive cheat. Surprisingly, is that so? Your world may seem inferior to ours, but it also contains incredible prophetic power. This can be considered as each having their own strengths. Neighbor Luo Feng sighed and said, in his opinion, combat power is not all. Predicting this ability is really incredible. But if Luo Feng knew that the only advantage of Douluo Star was actually fabricated by Huo Yuhao, he wouldn't know what kind of expression he would show on his face. Huo Yuhao took the opportunity to ask. Luo Feng, have you ever played games? I've played many games with Hua when I was a child. Luo Feng blurted out, but he didn't know why Huo Yuhao suddenly asked him this. Have you ever driven a cheat? Huo Yuhao continued. I haven't driven it before, but I can guess it must be very enjoyable. So, do you want to cheat? In the future, there will be no surprises in your life. After becoming a warrior, you will aimlessly slay monsters every day and save money to treat your younger brother's legs. Can only watch helplessly as your beloved girl gets married, and after 100 years, it will turn into a pile of loss. Is this kind of life what you want? My prophetic power can provide you with various opportunities to seek good fortune and avoid misfortune. In just a few years, it can make you surpass the gods of flood and thunder and become the ruler of the earth. Your family will live a happy life, your younger brother Ahua can not only stand up again, but also gain a love, and you can not only become the strongest on earth, but also marry Su Xian, the girl you have been dreaming of. Make a choice, Luo Feng, your future is up to you. After Huo Yuhao finished a series of words, Luo Feng listened clearly and could clearly feel his body trembling. You are simply a demon who can understand everything about people. Huo Yuhao's words are really too tempting. What he said made him unable to refuse at all, because it was all the driving force behind his hard work in cultivation. The other party had already prophesied everything about him, knowing his family and his goals like the back of their hands. After Luo Feng finished his sentence, Huo Yuhao's voice continued to ring. Your world level is higher than mine, and the benefits outweigh the efforts. Therefore, I plan to satisfy you even if it means running out of lifespan. After you succeed, you will give me feedback. I think any hesitation for a second is disrespectful to yourself. Swallowing the Starry Sky World, Ian District Hospital in Jiangnan City. Wearing a hospital uniform, Luo Feng sat on the bed with a very complicated expression. These past few months have been a rich experience for him, almost catching up with the protagonists in the most popular novels. 3 months ago, a virtual screen suddenly appeared in his mind, and at first he thought it was some kind of black technology product. After all, war triggered a technological explosion, and the level of technology on Earth is quite high. It is possible that some genius invented a virtual black technology. But when he truly understood, he realized that perhaps this was indeed an alien visitor, and the bound person across from the light curtain seemed to be indeed an alien. What shocked him even more was that the person across from him, named Huo Yuhao, could predict everything about him. What a terrifying ability is this! Everything on their planet comes from the RR virus, and the strength of warriors is based on scientific evidence, but the power of prophecy on the other side is beyond his imagination. When Luo Feng heard Huo Yuhao's whispers, he was immediately bewitched. As Huo Yuhao said, any hesitation for a second is disrespectful to himself. So much so that his heart raced wildly, seeming to jump over 150. Fortunately, he was able to control it, and at this moment, he was both frustrated and surprised. What's frustrating is that my future achievements are mediocre and I can only muddle through the rest of my life, but what's surprising is that I just need to nod and agree, and everything I pursue seems to be within reach. But he is still very cautious. Huo Yuhao, what you said is too general. Can you be more specific? What exactly do I need to pay? There is no pie falling from the sky, and any transaction must pay a corresponding price. If we don't explain it clearly now, big things may happen in the future. With my prophecy, your future will only be bright. You are my only bound person in your world, and I hope you become the ruler of that universe. You don't need to worry about any accidents, after all, we are in two completely different universes that we won't encounter in our lifetime. That's why I invested in you. Huo Yuhao paused and continued. Nowadays, neither you nor I know how to obtain a withdrawal point, so item trading has no meaning. It's not bad to chat and engage in verbal transactions like this. Actually, I am mainly interested in the cultivation techniques in your world. If you have the opportunity in the future, just give me a few sets. Anyway, we are in different worlds, and you're not leaking any information to me. Your world's extraordinary energy has a level far beyond ours, and I also hope to obtain it from you in the future, Huo Yuhao said calmly. Upon hearing Huo Yuhao's accurate demands, Luo Feng felt relieved instead. Okay, I accept your investment. I, Luo Feng, guarantee it with my own personality. Luo Feng had a serious expression on his face. He was a relatively serious person, and if he promised something to others, he must do it. Upon receiving Luo Feng's promise, Huo Yuhao immediately felt stable. After all, Luo Feng is widely recognized as one of the three upright protagonists in the world, and everyone who follows him is doing well. Even his master, whom he had never met before, was resurrected by him through the reversal of time and space, with both emotions and righteousness, referring to Lord Luo of the city. At the same time, he was also frantically apologizing to Luo Feng in his heart. Lord Luo, I'm really sorry. My world is too low, and you probably don't even look up to the artifact. There is really nothing I can offer to trade, and I can only describe you, the future supreme universe, as ordinary and use your luck to deceive you. However, after learning about the plot, it should be stronger than before. With both storyline and future suspensions, I have slightly strengthened it for you this time, which can be considered a balance of merits and demerits. However, although feeling guilty, Huo Yuhao still had to continue because the deception had reached its most critical moment. I have a bit too much to say, please jot it down and memorize it before completely destroying it, Huo Yuhao reminded. Okay, just a moment, I'll handle the discharge procedures, Luo Feng replied. Faced with the upcoming opportunity to change his destiny, where can Luo Feng still sit still? As Huo Yuhao said before, even hesitating for an extra second is disrespectful to oneself. Moreover, he was almost all right and there was no need to stay in the hospital. So he directly pulled out the needle in his hand, and in the stunned situation of the nurses, he checked out and left, quickly returning home. In the room, Luo Feng took out a pen and paper to prepare a record. After receiving Luo Feng's signal, Huo Yuhao began to speak in detail, saying a lot. From Luo Feng becoming a quasi-warrior, to Zhang Haobai's conspiracy, and then to Luo Feng becoming a warrior and obtaining a dragon egg. Until the golden horn giant completely destroyed the earth, Huo Yuhao deliberately made up this thing to scare Luo Feng. He spoke out every detail of this pile, every detail. However, among them, except for the protagonist Luo Feng himself in the plot where Luo Feng encountered danger, Huo Yuhao erased Luo Feng's artistic qualities in other plot related to chance. Huo Yuhao spoke slowly and calmly, but Luo Feng's expression across from him was much more complicated. His face alternated between anger, shock, joy, and surprise, but more importantly, it was excitement and unease. There would be such a terrifying and destructive disaster in the future of the Earth. There are even planetary and stellar levels above the god of war. The Earth is just a tiny planet in the universe, which really broadens his horizons. At this moment, he could only feel fortunate and grateful in his heart, because if he had not met Huo Yuhao, he would not have known that the Earth would be destroyed by the Golden Horn Giant in the future. He and his loved ones would have turned into nutrients for the Golden Horn Giant. But now he has learned the news of the end of the world a few years in advance, and he must use everything to fight for a glimmer of hope for humanity. Humanity, immortal. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Huo Yuhao. I only have 10 years of life left. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Huo Yuhao. I only have 10 years of life left. When Luo Feng was lost in thought, Huo Yuhao suddenly coughed violently, and his voice became very weak, making it clear that something was wrong. Luo Feng regained consciousness from the shock and asked with concern. Huo Yuhao, are you okay? It's okay, it's just that it involves too much and the lifespan is deducted a bit too much. Today, I will help you predict this time. I only have 10 years left now. Originally, I only calculated it briefly, but the more I predicted it later, the more strange it becomes. I have noticed that there is a possibility of an end to the world in your world. In order not to lose your partner, I can only grit my teeth and continue moving forward. However, this kind of fatal loss is harmless. Luo Feng, my expectation for you now is just that you can live on after being fooled by Huo Yuhao. He didn't forget to sell it miserably. The innocent and kind Luo Feng on the other side was indeed deceived. Luo Feng had a moved expression on his face. He didn't expect a stranger to be able to do this for him. They only officially met today. With only 10 years left in his lifespan, he could already imagine that Huo Yuhao was now gray-haired, with a hunched figure and a wrinkled face. A scholar dies for his confidant. He now even has the heart to give his heart to Huo Yuhao. The communication between the two lasted for a day and a night, and Huo Yuhao, who successfully fooled the lord of Luo City, was in a good mood. At this moment, Luo Feng had also fallen into a busy state. With the progression of the plot, Huo Yuhao believes that Luo Feng's progress will definitely be much faster than the original work, because many opportunities in the early stages of devouring the starry sky are not like the secret realms in other cultivation novels, which must be opened at the right time. The opportunities in the process of devouring are basically there, it depends on when you discover them, with a focus on fate. The seed of friendship has already been sown, let's see when it will sprout and bear fruit, although Huo Yuhao's methods are a bit despicable. But earning money is not shabby. And I'm not completely deceiving Luo Feng either. After this incident, Huo Yuhao turned his gaze to himself. For the past few months, he has been practicing meditation every night, but the benefits have been minimal. In Douluo continent, the higher the innate soul power, the faster the cultivation speed will be, which is an innate advantage. Huo Yuhao's innate soul power is only one level, and his meridians are narrow and blocked. If he practices normally, he will never be able to reach the Soul Lord realm in his lifetime. After experiencing his cultivation speed clearly, he truly understood why ordinary people in Douluo continent have no future. The cultivation speed is slow like a snail crawling, and there are no resources yet. How can this take off? Even a person with a system and cheats doesn't know where to start when facing such a strange body. I really don't know how Huo Yuhao, the original author, persevered. In the evening, meditate in one breath. In the past few months, he has made a simple upgrade to his meditation based on his understanding of Tai Chi in his previous life. Although it has become a particularly invincible technique, his meditation speed has also increased threefold on top of his original foundation. Now he is 10 years and 3 months old, and his soul power is barely 9.5 levels, which is already considered very fast. He has improved nearly 2 levels in a year. It is an undeniable fact that soul masters, regardless of their talent, practice exceptionally quickly during a period of time after awakening their martial soul. After all, the volume required for a soul master to break through a level 10 soul master is completely different from that required for a major soul master. Originally, Huo Yuhao needed another year, which was when he was 11 years old, to break through the level 10 soul warrior. However, with improved techniques, he estimated that it would only take him 2 months to reach level 10. Anyway, let's open the book. After all, hard work may lead to failure, but without hard work, although it is comfortable, it will definitely not succeed. 2 months later. Just as fish belly white appeared in the sky, Huo Yuhao in the room gently exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. At this moment, he finally reached the fate-like level 10, at the age of 10.5, with level 10 soul power. We players with innate level 1 soul power are so powerful. He stretched lazily, trying to shake off all his fatigue. These 2 months, he can be said to have wasted sleep and food. Every day, either during practice or on the way to practice, there were hardly any other activities except for taking a walk in the morning. He decided to take a break for himself today. Of course, he hasn't been completely practicing for the past 2 months either. After devouring the plot, Luo Feng's progress was really fast, several times faster than the original work. In just 2 months, he reached the rank of intermediate warrior, only 2 steps away from the god of war. And this step away is also because he wants to hone his body methods and combat skills, and doesn't want his cultivation to be too superficial. Luo Feng is very intelligent and bold. As the saying goes, wealth and fortune are sought after. After breaking through the level of a general, he logged into Wudao and, under the guidance of Huo Yuhao, avoided many crises before successfully landing. He found several small spirits of grass and trees at the edge of the island to devour, and his cultivation quickly skyrocketed. He also fought and advanced, honing his combat skills while approaching the inner layers of the Mist Island. After all, the spiritual strength of the plants and trees on the periphery is relatively weak, and the medicinal power is also much inferior. Luo Feng's plan is to break through to planetary level on Mist Island before going out. Anyway, Wudao doesn't lack accompanying trainers. As long as he doesn't provoke the Central King now, there won't be any major problems. During this period, Luo Feng gave Huo Yuhao several spirits of plants and trees as gifts. Unfortunately, it was impossible to exchange them for just 10 withdrawal points, even if it was 100 years old, but all of this was in his calculations. After all, eating a 1,000-year-old spirit of grass and trees can transform an ordinary person into a god of war. If this kind of thing can be cheap, Huo Yuhao can directly take the system's surname. During this period, Luo Feng also exchanged many cultivation techniques. Before he went to Wudao, he used the money from selling dragon eggs to purchase a large number of secret scripts, and then explained them all in detail to Huo Yuhao. The cultivation method of devouring the starry sky is divided into basic cultivation method and gene source energy cultivation method. By exercising through basic cultivation methods, the body can be activated to a certain extent, and then the gene source energy cultivation method can be practiced to absorb energy from the universe. The basic cultivation methods can be downloaded directly from the website. As for the gene source cultivation method, Luo Feng has already obtained it, and he gave it to Huo Yuhao. Unfortunately, even Luo Feng himself does not have those advanced guidance techniques, which is also his regret. Huo Yuhao, who had obtained the cultivation method, immediately began to practice. However, to his regret, he did not succeed in his cultivation, as he lacked a crucial element in his body. That's the RR virus. Without the key, no matter how hard he tries, he cannot get started. But as long as his thoughts don't slide, there are always more solutions than difficulties. During this period, he and Luo Feng discussed a very crazy idea. After Luo Feng broke through the god of war, he can try it out. Huo Yuhao found that he had a special connection with Huo Xingling, and he could basically see him as soon as he went out. He found that Huo Xingling was not only mute, but also a fool. As soon as he left, he saw a stunned young man digging wild vegetables with a bamboo basket. As winter approached, the young man was still wearing a thin piece of clothing, so stupid. Huo Xingling's time to go to the back mountain to dig wild vegetables is not fixed every day, but every time he opens the door, he can come across him walking by, making him think that this little mute is specifically waiting for him. However, seeing his trembling appearance, Huo Yuhao's heart finally softened. He took out a cotton coat from home and chased after him. He didn't know the boy's surname, only heard the village chief call him Xingling, but he felt it was strange to call him a boy like this, just like the villagers, always calling him mute. Huo Yuhao quickly caught up with him, grabbed the basket from his hand, and put the big cotton jacket directly on his thin and small body. Even if I'm mute, I'm still a fool. I don't even know how to add clothes on such a cold day. What should I do in the future? Huo Yuhao hated iron for not being strong enough, and rubbed his head fiercely. The latter was not angry with his words, still dumbfounded. There's no way. Huo Xingling acted relatively normal when only the village chief was present, and at other times, he looked silly. However, although Huo Yuhao always speaks rudely, he has been taking good care of him in the past few months. Huo Yuhao didn't take care of him because he was a little mute. After experiencing 2 lives, his heart is much harder than most people think. He is just a career group without emotions. If we have to explain the reason, it is that the little mute has a very similar temperament to him, that unique and ultimate loneliness. Living in this world feels like living, but it's no different from dying. They are probably both people like this. If they suddenly die one day, there probably won't be anyone who remembers them. I've been struggling whether or not to ruin Shrek and Zhang Lishuan's brutal relationship. I just made a decision, and in order to improve the outline, Shrek can only do nothing. Those who like Shrek are really sorry. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Card System Bugs, Exploding Eyes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Card System Bugs, Exploding Eyes. During the process of returning from the back mountain, Huo Yuhao hurriedly returned to his room after receiving a message from Luo Feng. Huo Yuhao's expression was serious, and Luo Feng, who was far away in a safe zone devouring the starry mist island, was no exception. Just now, after taking a 1,000-year-old willow heart, his physical fitness directly surpassed the primary god of war realm, and his spiritual and mental abilities also surpassed the intermediate god of war realm. And once his physical fitness breaks through to the level of a junior war god, he can fulfill their 2 plans, that crazy plan. Huo Yuhao discovered in a random experiment that after giving his hair to Luo Feng, all of it would be systematically repatriated the next day. Later, he repeatedly experimented and finally came to the conclusion that 2 bound individuals giving each other body parts would be considered a violation by the system. After more than a day, it will be automatically returned by the system, and the withdrawal point for each part only needs a little. So Huo Yuhao, who was unable to practice the swallowing starry sky technique, suddenly had a very bold idea in his heart, and coincidentally, there was no complete set of criminal laws in the universe. Therefore, the 2 also coincidentally met. At first, Luo Feng was also startled by his bold idea, but after careful consideration, both of them realized that this matter had great potential. In the room, Huo Yuhao swallowed his saliva and asked nervously. Lao Luo, have you prepared your work yet? Although Luo Feng has advanced to become the god of war, his tone at this moment is also somewhat trembling. The least lacking thing on Mist Island is the spirit of plants and trees. I have prepared 3,000-year-old spirits of plants and trees here, but if not enough, there are still hundreds on the ground. Luo Feng is full of grandeur. Upon receiving a positive response from Luo Feng, Huo Yuhao hesitated and said. Why don't you cut it first? Huo Yuhao tentatively asked. You should go first, Luo Fengqian said. I can't do it. Huo Yuhao's voice trembled, and his 2 fingers were shaped like scissors, half bent and hovering in front of his 2 clear and bright big eyes, without moving for a long time. I can't do it either. Luo Feng's voice was also trembling. Although he had been decisive in his efforts over the past few months, he couldn't take any action on his own body. I'll shout 1, 2, 3, and we'll start at the same time. Anyway, there's a 1,000-year-old willow tree heart that can activate cells by 70%, and it can be taken back in an instant. Huo Yuhao calmly analyzed and said quietly. Can Luo Feng nodded in agreement. 1, 2. Huo Yuhao paused and continued. 3, start. As soon as Huo Yuhao finished speaking, a pig-like scream came from across. After a while, the weak and painful voice of Luo Feng came from the opposite side. The nerves in his eyes were too many and too dense. Digging it out alive was definitely heartbreaking. Why didn't you shout? Faced with Luo Feng's questioning, Huo Yuhao took a deep breath and said. It will be called soon. You should remember to touch more of the energy essence of the 1,000-year-old willow heart. This thing is more expensive, and your eyes will grow faster if you touch it more. To be honest, both of my eyeballs are soaked in the heart of a 1,000-year-old willow tree. These are my eyes, my precious ones. Luo Feng pursed his lips and said, as soon as he finished speaking, he heard Huo Yuhao's equally pig-killing scream, and his heart immediately felt relieved. The two of them endured the excruciating pain, pressing against a pair of empty eye sockets, and began to click and trade with their eyes. At the next moment, the two eyeballs on both hands disappeared simultaneously and appeared in the system space. The withdrawal points were 2 points, and with a big wave of Huo Yuhao's hand, the last 2 trading points disappeared instantly. Suddenly, 2 eye beads of similar size appeared in his hand out of thin air. These 2 super large beads were full of cellular activity, and there was also a lot of green mucus with vitality on them. Huo Yuhao directly stuffed one of them into his mouth. Suction slip, in a flash, the essence of energetic plants and trees entered into Huo Yuhao's weak body and began to strengthen his body cells. After licking it, Huo Yuhao put the left eye on it and began to suck the right eye. On the other side, Luo Feng also took Huo Yuhao's eyeballs and soaked them in the 1,000-year willow heart energy liquid before putting them on himself. With this powerful activating effect, it can be said that with just one breath, 2 eyeballs appeared in Luo Feng's 2 hollow eye sockets like the original version. After experiencing it, Luo Feng found that these eyes, as the martial soul of Huo Yuhao, were indeed more careful and far-sighted than his eyes. However, at this moment, he suddenly heard the sound of the other person sucking away, and inwardly thought to himself that it was not good. Huo Yuhao, you disgusting guy, aren't you licking my eyeballs? Luo Feng asked with a disdainful expression on his face. Don't worry about these details. You have a whole island of grass and wood spirit for you to consume, but I can't. Looking at so much energy, can you say I can't be tempted? Stop talking, I'll refine these energies first, and you can start too. Huo Yuhao, a dead pig, is not afraid of boiling water. Luo Feng let out a bitter smile, shook his head with a mix of tears and laughter, and secretly thought to himself that he would wash and then install it when he returned. Following the principle of not wasting, Luo Feng drank up more than half of the remaining spiritual liquid and began to help Huo Yuhao's eyes condense the genetic energy. Huo Yuhao was emitting terrifying energy fluctuations at this moment, and he really underestimated the power of the spirit of devouring the 1,000-year-old grass and trees in the Douluo continent. From the perspective of Douluo continent, it is not an exaggeration to say that this treasure, which can directly help the war god level strong advance, is a divine medicine. If it weren't for the suppression of Luo Feng's god of war level eyes, even a little bit would have burst his body. Swallowing the starry sky is a cellular cultivation, mainly aimed at activating cells, so Luo Feng's eyes are at a clear level of war god. With its assistance, Huo Yuhao's body began to slowly and continuously absorb this energy, and as the energy was absorbed, his soul power level also rapidly soared. Of course, the increase in soul power is only incidental, because the millennial willow heart is a treasure that activates cell activity, so the biggest change for Huo Yuhao is still in his body. His cells, which have been suffering from long-term malnutrition, are quickly activated by the nourishment of these energies, and his body is constantly undergoing degeneration. Everything in the body, including skin, muscles, bones, blood, internal organs, and meridians, is rapidly growing. His meridians, nourished by the spirit of plants and trees, begin to expand on their own. The blocked area was also unblocked, and all impurities in his body were slowly discharged through his pores. Time passes by bit by bit. These dozen or so drops of the spirit of plants and trees have been absorbed by Huo Yuhao for almost a day and a night. After absorbing this energy, he has no time to feel the transformation of his body. After looking at the time, Huo Yuhao realized that his organs would be automatically repatriated by the system after only 3 hours, so he began practicing according to the cultivation method provided by Luo Feng. For a period of time, although he was unable to cultivate, he found that these techniques could improve his meditation speed, so he also proficiently mastered the cultivation techniques provided by Luo Feng to devour the starry sky. Now he has the energy to devour the starry sky in his body, and he also has the eyeballs of Luo Feng. Because he and Luo Feng have the same blood type, there will be no repulsion. Luo Feng's eyes have been on him for almost a day and a night. After multiple rounds of blood circulation, he should have had RR virus and benign antibodies in his body long ago. The gene source energy cultivation method is to optimize the body's genes to a certain extent, and then absorb the slightest energy from the universe and integrate it into every cell of the body. During this process, every part of the body will be continuously strengthened, and Huo Yuhao's activation level of body cells is enough to support him in practicing this cultivation method. Huo Yuhao sat on the bed, his feet crossed, with the soles of his feet facing upwards, his hands on his legs with the palms facing upwards, and his waist and back straight. This is the 5 hearts towards heaven. He, hang up and finish immediately, never procrastinate, finish devouring within 10 chapters, and then enter the plot. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Golden Level Second Awakening, Jiuhuan Luofeng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Golden Level Second Awakening, Jiuhuan Luofeng Devouring the Starry World, Misty Island, Refuge. After receiving Huo Yuhao's eyes, Luo Feng immediately began practicing without stopping. After all, there was only 1 day left. Both he and Huo Yuhao will only do this once in their lifetime. After all, for cultivators like them, the integrity of their bodies is very important. Even if it can be installed, no one knows what hidden dangers there may be in the future. After taking a sip of 1,000-year-old willow heart, Luo Feng drank another one. After advancing to the level of God of War physically and breaking through the advanced level of God of War mentally, he became much bolder and began to enter the island to harvest the millennial willow heart. Except for the central area, which he dared not go to, he went through everything else with great enthusiasm. Now, in his shelter, there are hundreds of millennial willow hearts, and he can be said to be quite wealthy and wealthy. Luo Feng posed with his 5 hearts facing the sky and directed all his energy into Huo Yuhao's spiritual eyes. Everything was going smoothly originally, but as he infused more and more energy, he found that his body suddenly couldn't move. This made him extremely frightened. This was the first time this had happened in his cultivation, and soon, under his perception, he found the source of the problem. A white terrifying force was emanating from the eyes of Huo Yuhao, named Jiuhuan, enveloping his entire body. Later, Luo Feng learned that this force was called the power of world rules. The rule of Douluo continent is to turn energy into a soul ring skill. Now that Huo Yuhao's martial soul has appeared in another world, Luo Feng accidentally triggered this rule by chance. The current situation was beyond Luo Feng's control. After Huo Yuhao's spiritual eyes and martial soul absorbed enough energy, 2 small eddies appeared in his eyes, absorbing the spirits of the plants and trees he had placed in the shelter one by one, at a very fast speed. Luo Feng didn't feel sorry about this either. After all, he had to go back when his eyes were on time. It was a good thing that Huo Yuhao could take it away. After all, there were still so many on Wudao, and he was worried about how to repay Huo Yuhao. And although he was thinking about other things in his heart, he didn't slack off at all. His mental and intellectual energy was fixed on the movements of these eyes, fearing that something might happen. After inhaling more than 150 spirits of plants and trees, the spiritual eyes and martial souls began to emit a breathtaking aura. Luo Feng just felt a slight tremble, and the current state of this thing was really strange. At this moment, behind Luo Feng, two huge vertical pupils suddenly appeared. At first, they were white, but then quickly turned into black iron, and the aura emanating from them gradually became stronger. Then the color quickly turned blue, and soon both of the vertical pupils turned bronze. At this moment, the aura emanating from them was much stronger than the previous black iron aura. However, as time passed, the color continued to change, and silver began to shine on the blue, shining brightly. Luo Feng could feel that the immense energy in his eyes had decreased slightly, but despite this, the energy contained in his eyes, which had devoured hundreds of thousand-year-old plant spirits, was still massive. Such a massive amount of energy made him tremble. You should know, he broke through from the peak of a senior war general to a junior war god, and was only one step away from breaking through the intermediate war god. He only ate 1,000-year-old willow heart. Half a day left before his eyes returned, the two huge vertical pupils behind Luo Feng had completely turned silver, emitting an extremely terrifying aura. Compared to bronze level ones, it could be said to be one sky, one earth. And what shocked Luo Feng was that the mutation had not yet ended. The silver shining vertical pupils started from the center, and there was a golden light shining on Luo Feng's body. The same was true for his eyes, with a faint golden light emanating from the center of the pupils and spreading around. And as the golden light gradually became stronger, the energy consumption also increased. When his eyes turned completely golden, Luo Feng felt that he couldn't even look directly into his own eyes. Well, this is indeed a very strange description. Luo Feng, who observed with his psychic powers, could feel that Huo Yuhao's eyes seemed to have undergone a very incredible change, and this must be benign, with the golden color representing strength at first glance. As time passed by minute by second, he was still unable to move. At this moment, he could only apologize to Huo Yuhao in his heart and promise to help him concentrate his genetic energy in his eyes, but surprisingly, he broke the promise. There is still one last hour left, by which time the aura of the golden pupils has stabilized, and the energy in the eyes is no longer flowing. His body finally broke free from confinement and was able to move. Luo Feng sighed inwardly and thought to himself that it was finally over. There was still some time left for cultivation, so there should be some time. Only a few minutes after his golden pupils returned to normal, he suddenly began to restless again, and the energy in his eyes suddenly rushed towards the dark golden ball in his sea of spiritual consciousness. This action completely startled him. After all, it was the source of his mental and intellectual energy. Under the connection of the dark golden ball, this energy actually transmitted to his body and quickly condensed. Isn't it? What the hell are you doing? Luo Feng had no choice but to roast, thinking that there was no end to it. This massive and pure energy flowed out of his eyes, descending from his head all the way to his feet. Soon, a golden halo condensed on his feet and slowly rose again. The energy transformed by the spirit of plants and trees was immediately consumed, and under the gaze of Luo Feng, circles of halos continued to condense. The massive energy in Huo Yuhao's pupils also quickly disappeared. With the passage of time, 24 hours a day passed quickly. With the condensation of the ninth golden halo, all the energy consumed in Huo Yuhao's pupils disappeared and turned into the 9 huge golden halos on Luo Feng's body. After the final golden ring condensed, Luo Feng's eyes suddenly became hollow, and 2 of his own eyeballs appeared on his hands. Suppressing the excruciating pain of his eyeballs leaving his body in an instant, he quickly put his eyeballs on. At this moment, he began to calm down and settle down. He was surprised to find that the dark golden ball inside his body had disappeared along with Huo Yuhao's eyes. But the 9 golden halos on his body still exist, which make him feel very interesting, but these are not the most bizarre. His physical fitness has now advanced to become a high-level god of war, while his spiritual and mental abilities have inexplicably become a planetary level 1. Everything that happened today is too strange. He needs to take it seriously and then ask Huo Yuhao later, and apologize to him. Luo Feng is very excited now, because although he doesn't know what happened, his strength has undergone a tremendous change in just one day. Is there anything more exciting than this? Compared to Luo Feng, Huo Yuhao's side is simply a 2-level reversal. After absorbing some of the energy obtained from licking Luo Feng's eyeballs, he has already started practicing the gene source energy method. But now there's a big problem, which is that he can only feel very weak cosmic energy in the air, so after refining for half a day, he only received 1 drop of gene source energy. Here, he speculates that it may be caused by the divine realm. Douluo continent is likely sealed by the divine realm and has become a sphere that cannot be exited or entered, and external energy cannot enter at all. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Epic Enhancement of Luo Feng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Epic Enhancement of Luo Feng. However, roast is attributed to roast. Although the amount of complaining is small, it can be absorbed anyway, and many cultivation systems are always good. And now is not the time to think about these things, his eyes have already returned. Starting with Lingmo, he could sense the power of these 2 eyes in his hands solely through his touch. He wanted to ask what Luo Feng had done to his eyes. Did Luo Feng reward his Lingmo for licking his eyeballs in retaliation? Otherwise, why would it be so hot and damp? It's unbelievable. Fearing that it wouldn't be fresh after being left for a long time, he directly placed his spiritual eyes back into his empty sockets. As soon as his spiritual eyes were fixed by him, he instantly regained clarity and felt a significant improvement in his vision. Huo Yuhao's heart flashed with a hint of strangeness, secretly thinking that Luo Feng would come and strengthen his spiritual eyes to this extent in just one day. But when he carefully examined his martial soul, he was directly shocked. What kind of eyes are these? Is the dazzling golden light and the divine aura emanating from the martial soul really his spiritual eyes? Feeling the powerful aura of his martial soul, he could be certain that his spiritual eyes had undergone a fundamental evolution, and he had only one guess in his heart, which was the secondary evolution of his own martial soul. It was definitely like this. Luo Feng is truly the son of Qi that devours the starry sky. He made such a big move as soon as he got his spiritual eye, which caught him off guard. Moreover, there seems to be a different world inside his spiritual eye. Huo Yuhao continued to deepen his understanding. As soon as his spiritual eyes returned, his body received a massive amount of feedback, especially the sea of spiritual consciousness, which expanded dozens of times. His spiritual power also surged several times, enough to support him in exploring his own body. Under his perception, he found a dark golden ball appearing in the center of his spiritual consciousness sea. If nothing unexpected happened, it should be Luo Feng's spiritual and mental ability ball. It's really strange, it's unbelievable. How could Luo Feng's strongest cheat be brought to Douluo continent by his own eyes in the early stage? Huo Yuhao couldn't contain his curiosity anymore. He could take stock of the gains later, but the mystery in his heart must be solved on the spot, so he directly started calling Luo Feng. Luo Feng, what did you do to my eyes? How did it turn out like this? Huo Yuhao, the villain, complained first. Luo Feng thought Huo Yuhao's eyes had been damaged by him and immediately asked, "What's wrong? Is there something wrong with the eyes?" Luo Feng asked nervously, realizing that he had gained so many benefits. If he had damaged Huo Yuhao's eyes, his guilt would have been immense. That's not true, but can you tell me what exactly happened? My eyes have undergone a very strange change, and I'm curious. Huo Yuhao was really surprised. When Huo Yuhao asked a question, Luo Feng's voice quickly came from across. After receiving your spiritual eyes, it was okay at first, but after absorbing 2,000-year-old willow hearts, something changed. Your spiritual eyes began to crazily absorb energy, and he absorbed all the 150,000-year-old willow hearts that I had collected, Luo Feng said in frustration. What? You said my spiritual eyes absorbed over 150,000-year-old willow hearts. Huo Yuhao lost his voice and said. It's not surprising that he reacted this way. It's really exhilarating. He received such a huge amount of energy from the world that devoured the starry sky. It's simply not too satisfying. It's true, but all the energy has been used up, Luo Feng said calmly. Huo Yuhao. Do you want to hear what you're saying? Luo Feng's gasp almost caused Huo Yuhao to burst into profanity. Since it's all gone, why don't you just talk nonsense? Seeing that Huo Yuhao remained silent, Luo Feng continued. The spiritual eyes that absorbed such a massive amount of energy became very eerie, and a strange force emanated from them. My whole body was frozen and unable to move. Then I saw two huge vertical pupils behind me, and under the pouring of energy, the color changed from black to gold. Afterwards, 9 golden halos condensed on my body, and then time came. Your spiritual eyes disappeared with the dark golden ball inside me. You also know the next thing. Luo Feng's words were astonishing, and Huo Yuhao's mouth couldn't even close in shock. On how to shock people 3 times in just one sentence, Luo Feng did it. The second awakening of the golden level of the main body martial soul, Huo Yuhao's breathing began to quicken, which was the highest level awakening of the main body martial soul. Although he had some speculations when he saw his martial soul phantom, he did not personally confirm the shock from Luo Feng's mouth. But when he heard that Luo Feng had 9 golden soul rings appearing, he was completely stunned, his heart pounding, and he thought to himself. It's broken, Luo Feng's cultivation has been transformed into a soul ring by my spiritual eyes. Isn't the invincible lord of Luo City deposed by me? Luo Feng, don't tell me that all your genetic resources have turned into soul power. Are you the ultimate Douluo of the 9 rings now? Huo Yuhao asked nervously. No, I am currently an intermediate war god, and my spiritual and mental abilities have surpassed the first level of the planet. The 9 golden halos behind me are the energy conversion of the 150 plant spirits. Luo Feng said calmly, and he was also very curious about these 9 golden rings, so he continued to ask. Huo Yuhao, are these golden halos behind me the soul rings of your world's unique martial souls? Luo Feng's words were like a bolt from the blue, leaving Huo Yuhao in place. If it's true as Luo Feng said, then Luo Feng has really been lucky. He is truly the son of Qi luck, and this wave has directly made his talent the #1 in the universe. Speaking of today's chaotic operation, the two of them were simply running in both directions. My martial soul has evolved into a top-level martial soul, and it seems that there are other changes that need to be explored by myself. Having obtained the dark golden sphere of Luo Feng's spiritual power, he is expected to become a spiritual master in the future. The body cells have also been greatly strengthened, and gene source energy has been successfully extracted, stepping into the physical body divine system that devours the starry sky. In the future, soul and body dual cultivation will lead far. Luo Feng is even more against the sky. Although his strength has only skyrocketed by a large rank, if his speculation is true, Luo Feng can be said to have climbed directly to the sky in one step. In the future, even if he doesn't lose the Golden Horn Giant, he can still be invincible. To be honest, he didn't really want to see Luo Feng seize the Golden Horn Giant. Although Luo Feng later separated into a human clone with his own soul, this kind of seizure felt like Luo Feng was already dead. If we can dominate the universe with our own body, why use animal bodies? Luo Feng, hurry up and see how many skills these 9 soul rings have brought you, and if there are any spatial and temporal skills. Huo Yuhao couldn't imagine how exciting it would be to devour the starry sky if Luo Feng awakened these upper-level rule skills. Okay, let me take a look. Luo Feng quickly urged the gene source to try. These soul rings are not condensed by soul power, nor are they the junk skills in Douluo. They should not be called soul rings, but rather the rings of law skills. Huo Yuhao's spiritual eyes only serve as a key to opening the door. The energy that condenses the halo is the energy that devours the starry world, and the energy that drives soul skills also requires genetic energy. An hour later, Luo Feng finally replied to the news. Huo Yuhao, each golden soul ring has 3 skills, and they are all very strong. I took a look and found that there are 10 spiritual skills, 5 time skills, 5 space skills, and a few life and death lights. I don't know which category they should belong to, but my favorite is the time and space god illusion skill, which can instantly transform into thousands of time and space clones. Huo Yuhao is unable to roast now, and is shocked to numbness. Luo Feng, do you want to know what expression I have now? Huo Yuhao looked envious, jealous, and resentful. Compared to this, he felt that taking away Luo Feng's dark golden ball was already a trivial matter. What expression is it? Luo Feng asked. After you find Babata, explain your situation to him, and the expression you see on his face will be my current expression. Huo Yuhao said with a gloomy expression. He is now in silence for the Golden Horn Giant. What's going on? It's mysterious and mysterious. Luo Feng doesn't have the concept of laws yet, but after coming into contact with the universe, he will know how insane everything is. Today he actually mastered the 2 upper-level rule skills of time and space at the apprentice level, and there are 10 more in total, including spiritual, life, and death skills. With so many rule skills, if the strong in the universe knew about them, they would definitely envy the separation of the material wall. Can write about the world's hierarchical division devouring junior warrior, fist power 900 kilograms, 25 meters per second, intermediate warrior, fist power 2000 kilograms, 40 meters per second, advanced warrior, fist power 4000 kilograms, 60 meters per second, junior general, fist power 8000 kilograms, 90 meters per second, intermediate general, fist power 16,000 kilograms, 130 meters per second, advanced general, fist power 32,000 kilograms, 180 meters per second, junior god of war, fist power 64,000 kilograms, 340 meters per second, intermediate god of war, fist power 128,000 kilograms, 460 meters per second, advanced god of war, fist power 256,000 kilograms, 600 meters per second. Planetary realm, stellar realm, cosmic level, domain master level, realm master level, immortal deities, cosmic masters, true gods, eternal true gods, and chaotic masters. Fighting through the sky do ji chi doja do shir de do shir doling do wang do huang dozong do zun dozuan peak, 1 to 10 turns, extraordinary and holy. 11. Half holy, low, medium, and high levels. Do Sheng, level 1 to 9 stars, can open up a space. Dudi, the peak level of Duki continent. The legend of immortal cultivation by ordinary people refining qi, building foundation, forming pills, yuanying, transforming spirit, refining void, combining, Mahayana, true immortal, golden immortal, Tai, Dala. Daozu. Grand Master Induction Realm, Spiritual Will Realm, Divine Spirit Realm, 3 Days Realm, Supreme Little 3 Difficulties, Supreme Realm. Dragon Clan Sap Def Perfect World Blood Moving, Heavenly Cave, Spirit Transformation, Inscription, Formation, Venerable, Divine Fire, True One, Holy Sacrifice, Heavenly God, Void Path, Slaying Me, Escaping One, Supreme One, True Immortal, Immortal King, Quasi-Immortal Emperor you decide who to bind. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Farewell to Luo Feng, leaving the novice village, and a new beginning. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Farewell to Luo Feng, leaving the novice village, and a new beginning. In short, you will know in the future that you have already surpassed the star level. In just over 2 months, you have reached the peak of the earth. When the golden horn monster causes chaos, you should be able to surpass the star level. It will not be that you are afraid of him, but that he is afraid of you. What are your thoughts? Huo Yuhao suddenly asked. It feels like a dream. Luo Feng truthfully informed that in the past few months, he has indeed seemed to be dreaming. When you catch the golden horn giant, remember to send me some of its blood, Huo Yuhao continued. The golden horn giant is the pinnacle bloodline of the starry sky giant, and he definitely needs to gather some blood to study and research, provided that he has sufficient withdrawal points. No problem, you need to save up more cash to withdraw. I'm up now, but I can't take you with me, ha ha ha. Luo Feng had a proud expression on his face. The current Earth crisis has basically been resolved, and he only needs to develop steadily according to the plot. Huo Yuhao's face suddenly turned embarrassed, and what Luo Feng said was indeed true. Luo Feng's way of obtaining withdrawal points is by hunting monsters, but he has not tried it yet. Whether it's killing or hunting soul beasts, he hasn't started yet due to his strength, but now it's different. He already has the capital to rise. However, Huo Yuhao couldn't stand Luo Feng's arrogance, so he poured cold water on him directly. Luo Feng, the golden horn giant is just a small disaster in the early stage of your Earth. There is also a cosmic level force called Nolan Mountain that will target your Earth. Once they enter the Earth, you have no resistance at all, and everyone can only become slaves. As expected, the smile would only shift and not disappear. Luo Feng's face instantly became very serious. He was very convinced of Huo Yuhao's words, but he knew nothing about the universe and could only quickly inquire. What should I do? Find Babata, get in touch with the universe, and showcase your talents in the virtual universe. At that time, countless cosmic giants will naturally come to compete for you, this unparalleled genius. A small family like Nolan Mountain can easily erase it. Huo Yuhao suggested. Luo Feng was lost in thought. At first, he thought that Huo Yuhao's emphasis on the strength of these skills was exaggerating, but now he doesn't think so. He just wants to quickly find Babata and truly understand everything in this universe. Huo Yuhao, thank you. Luo Feng expressed his sincere gratitude to Huo Yuhao in a tone of voice. It's too early to say thank you now. I'm going to talk about some opportunities in the universe, please remember. Huo Yuhao's tone suddenly became serious. He had a premonition that he would only gradually distance himself from Luo Feng and probably not have many opportunities to chat. The Luo Summit enters the universe ahead of schedule, and understanding the realm and laws of the universe will consume a huge amount of time. Their lifespan is often calculated according to the era. Luo Feng seemed to have sensed something. Huo Yuhao spoke very carefully, and Luo Feng listened attentively. In fact, Huo Yuhao is no longer interested in Luo Feng's experience after entering the universe chapter. The universe that devours the stars is too vast, and its combat power is no exception. The combat power of the first cultivation stage of devouring the starry sky needs to surpass the peak of his own world. Even if he is in the extreme Douluo continent, he probably cannot withdraw the treasures from devouring the starry sky universe. Therefore, no matter how much Luo Feng sends him later, it is useless. This is the low-level sorrow of the world. Although Luo Feng has a simple personality, it will not change in the future. But the sedimentation of time and the slaughter on the battlefield will temper his strong heart. When he dominates a star field, or even a universe, the two of them will no longer be on the same level of people, and naturally cannot chat together. It is better to bid farewell early, so that we can get together and part ways. Anyway, Huo Yuhao and Luo Feng have always used the trading space as a storage space. After all, gifts will always be stored in the trading space as long as they are not withdrawn, and I can retrieve them at any time. Because everything he did was brought about by Huo Yuhao's prophecy, in order to show his sincerity, Luo Feng would basically throw all his personal items into the trading space. So if you have anything you want, just withdraw it directly. The trading system, when it comes to trading, is actually a disguised system mall. The first world came to an end in just a few months, and Huo Yuhao still felt quite sad in his heart. There is no doubt that the golden level second awakening spirit eye has reached the peak of its physical martial soul. After its return, the golden spirit eye has been constantly transforming its body and expanding its meridians. This is the feedback of the top-level martial soul to its body, which is indeed in line with the rules of this world. His current cultivation speed is already at the level of a top genius. He can proudly say that everything he has gained now far exceeds the total benefits brought to him by the Heavenly Dream Ice Silkworm. Refusing the Heavenly Dream's choice at the beginning is not a loss at all. Moreover, his spiritual eyes and martial soul have also gained the power of devouring, which can directly devour the faint cosmic energy in the air, and it is completely automatic, constantly absorbing it on its own. This surprised him because it directly saved him the time to extract the genetic energy. After all, the genetic energy extracted through cultivation is small and low in purity, far less fast than being swallowed by his eyes. Now that he can become stronger while lying down, why not do it? The dark golden ball is the starting point of everything for Luo Feng, and it is his first cheat. Luo Feng's several coma attempts were all thanks to it. Originally, it was when Li Yao was chasing him that he helped him break through a wave of spiritual and mental cultivation, but now Luo Feng doesn't have this trouble, and the dark golden ball is naturally still there. And by chance, he came into his body and became a martial soul-like existence. Douluo continent is truly yours, anything that comes to you can be weakened by your epic rules. That's right, Huo Yuhao can summon this dark golden round ball from the sea of spiritual consciousness. For now, let's call it the divine ball. The divine ball has transformed into his second martial soul. After summoning the second martial soul, he can use his spiritual power. At present, there is no additional soul ring, so his spiritual and mental power is limited. The maximum attack power of the flying knife he can control is only 1,000 kilograms. Compared to Luo Feng's flying knife with a combat power of 500,000 kilograms, he is really inferior. After digesting and absorbing everything he gained, Huo Yuhao underwent a tremendous transformation in just one day. In the evening, he briefly organized his strength. Martial Soul. Spirit Eye, Golden Level Second Awakening, with Devouring Ability, Soul Power, Level 20 up. Martial Soul. Divine Prayer Beads without soul rings attached. Currently, their abilities are extremely weak, but their potential is infinite. With the nourishment of the millennial willow tree heart and the increase in feedback from the return of his spiritual eyes, Huo Yuhao's physical strength has advanced to the level of an intermediate warrior, his fist strength has exceeded 16,000 kilograms, and his speed has reached 130 meters per second. Half a year ago, he was still a soul body, and Huo Yuhao was just an illegitimate child locked up in the yard, so he didn't know what the strong elements of Douluo continent were, but he could feel that his strength should be very strong. After organizing himself, Huo Yuhao scanned his room and felt 1,000 emotions in his heart. I didn't expect that after just over 2 months in Luoyun village, he would say goodbye to this place. Yes, he is ready to leave. I came to Luoyun village originally because it was very close to the Star Forest. Now that he has strength, it is safer to go directly to the Star Forest to wait for Ilix. Moreover, his soul power has reached the bottleneck, and it is time to obtain the soul ring. It's night, the moon is bright and the stars are sparse. Taking advantage of the moonlight, Huo Yuhao gently pushed open the wooden door of the yard. He changed into black clothes and gradually merged with the night. His face showed a hint of reluctance, even for a short time, but this was ultimately his first safe haven. As soon as he left, he probably said goodbye forever. He actually wanted to talk to someone now, but he found that the only person he could say goodbye to was a little mute who shared the same illness, which was quite funny. After leaving, dressed in black, he didn't rush out of the village, but walked briskly into a dilapidated small courtyard. Pushing the door into a bedroom, the little mute was peacefully asleep. Huo Yuhao carefully glanced at him and then silently exited the door. This time, without any hesitation, he left this peaceful village with great strides and bid farewell to his peaceful life. After Huo Yuhao walked away, Huo Xingling, who was asleep in the room, suddenly opened his bright eyes and half sat on the bed. Her temperament at this moment is completely different from that of the day. Looking at a money bag appearing on the table, her expression was very complicated. Huo Yuhao, who the hell are you? Why treat me so well as a mute? I have only written 8 chapters and received the news of signing the contract. I am truly anxious and fearful. The procedures have been completed and we are waiting to send the contract. This book has been signed, please recommend, collect, and have everything. It's a new book for newcomers. Thank you for your support. There is still one more shift in the evening, and I have been busy all afternoon. The author is too tired now. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Searching for Soul Rings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Searching for Soul Rings. Heading west from Luoyun village for dozens of miles, you can reach the outermost part of the starry forest. The danger of the star forest has been accumulated from the remains of countless soul masters for tens of thousands of years, so major empires will mark danger signs on the outermost edge of the star forest. When soul masters see this sign, it means that you have entered the star forest. The star forest is divided into a core area, a mixed area, and the outermost area. Most of the outermost centenary and millennium soul beasts are present, but sometimes the centenary and millennium soul beasts also appear. A mixed zone is a place where fish and dragons are mixed, and there are soul beasts that have been around for thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of years. And most of them exist in the form of ethnic groups. Without professional teams, no one dares to easily hunt souls in mixed areas. As for the core area, they are all inhabited by some kings in the Star Do forest. The soul beasts in this area have a lifespan of no less than 80,000 years, and without a super Douluo team, don't try to go hunting souls. The grading of soul beasts is simple and rough, with the ability to live at the innermost and the lack of ability to live at the outermost. As soon as he stepped into the star forest, Huo Yuhao felt a very strong atmosphere of primitive forests. It has to be said that the star forest, in terms of air and ecology, is much better than other places on the mainland. This is the importance of protecting the environment. The vegetation in the forest is very lush, and any large tree is over 10 meters high, and soul beasts can be seen everywhere, although they are all a group of the most ordinary 10-year soul beasts. As soon as they entered the forest, a group of white-haired soul beasts appeared at first glance. Huo Yuhao's lifelong enemy. The Wind Baboon. The wind baboon has a very strong attacking ability. No matter how the enemy's cultivation is, it just rotates, jumps, and then uses crazy grabbing. Huo Yuhao casually slapped 2 small-eyed wind baboons to death, causing the other wind baboons to scatter and flee. 2 white soul rings quickly appeared on the bodies, and he also saw soul beasts and soul rings for the first time. He immediately glanced at them a few more times. Although Douluo continent can be described as a fantasy sewer, its rules are still very interesting. There is no bottleneck as claimed by strong players in other worlds. By absorbing soul rings, one can level up. In other worlds, not only are they limited by talent, but they also experience thunder tribulations or heart demons when breaking through. This may be the only advantage of Douluo continent. Moreover, the rules of soul beasts are also very interesting. After the death of soul beasts, their lifelong cultivation will condense into an energy halo for people to absorb. The body also contains abundant soul power for people to consume, and there is even a chance to produce soul bones. Some special soul beasts also have inner alchemy, which is the ultimate utilization of their entire body. If you encounter a soul master who emits an evil aura and can maximize the benefits of corpses, then this soul beast will be blessed. In addition to the above purposes, it has also added 2 new uses. Corpse refining and soul utilization. Not wasting too much time on the 2 wind baboons, Huo Yuhao continued to walk inside. The more inside, the more types of soul beasts Huo Yuhao saw, and the stronger the aura on the soul beasts. Huo Yuhao's spiritual eyes are already golden level. Even if he has not obtained a soul ring, he has a very broad vision and strong insight ability. His spiritual eyes and martial soul constantly scan the breadth of surrounding soul beasts to judge their strength. The target of Huo Yuhao's first soul ring is a perpetual soul beast. With such an increase in both body and martial soul, it is more than enough to resist the eternal soul beast. Therefore, the eternal soul ring must be the first choice. After all, the first soul ring of the soul saint, who is an ordinary second awakening of the ontology sect, can last for 1,000 years. There is no reason for him to have a golden level second awakening, and his physical strength is still at the intermediate level of a warrior. He cannot even withstand a 10,000-year soul ring. As for soul impact, his spirit eye martial soul and spirit mindfulness martial soul are not vegetarian. But the problem now is that he is illiterate and can't even recognize the age of soul beasts. Killing the wrong one for 1,000 years is okay, even if it's 9,000 years old. Killing the wrong soul ring is also purple, which can be distinguished. However, if he finds a soul ring that has been around for 40 or 50,000 years, it will be black for 10,000 years, and he is afraid that he cannot bear it. After wandering aimlessly on the outskirts for a day, killing several soul beasts that looked like they had been around for thousands of years, Huo Yuhao began to move inside and entered the mixed zone. The mixed zone is a mix of fish and dragons, with many thousand-year soul beasts. However, the first soul ring should still be cautious, preferably at the level of 10,000 years, so he can rest assured. Therefore, after all, it is still necessary to find someone who is proficient in soul beast knowledge. So, although Huo Yuhao is releasing his spirit to detect soul beasts, he is actually mainly searching for other human teams who come to the Star Do Forest to hunt souls. The soul masters of the three major empires in Douluo continent rely on two major soul beast forests to survive. One is the Star Do Forest and the other is the Sunset Forest. The Sunset Forest was drained of qi and spiritual power by Tang San due to the ice and fire dual eyes, and all gathered in his ice and fire dual eyes, with heavy prohibitions placed to prohibit soul masters from entering and exiting. So the Sunset Forest is quite barren, with only a few soul beasts that have been around for 10 years, even 1,000 years are rare. According to Tang San's plan, it is estimated that he is also preparing to turn the Starry Forest into something similar to the Sunset Forest. Since the Sunset Forest, which serves as the two major soul beast forests in Douluo continent, has been abandoned, the three empires are naturally waiting for the Starry Forest to be fed. Every day, there are a massive number of soul masters entering and exiting the Star Forest, and if you're lucky, you should be able to encounter them. When looking for someone, it's natural to follow the water flow. Of course, although Huo Yuhao doesn't understand, he's not foolish. When he sees a place with cooking smoke, he will choose to avoid it. This is already a mixed zone, and those who dare to start a fire here are at least at the level of the title Douluo. He is not so arrogant and dares to fight with the title Douluo. Huo Yuhao patiently walked along the stream, his spiritual eyes always in a state of full fire, constantly observing the movements around him. Finally, he found 4 men, 3 women, and 7 others eating dry food several tens of meters away from him. Among the 7, there are 3 elderly and 4 young people. The 4 young people are 2 men and 2 women, all of whom are about the same age, probably 15 or 16 years old. They are all dressed in luxurious white gold uniforms and look like students from a college. And the other 3 elderly people, one of them is Lao Shu, with silver hair all over her head, looking the oldest, and the other 2 are the old men with white hair and childlike appearance. These 3 people all have similar breath, although strong, they should not be titled Douluo. Huo Yuhao speculated that the 3 individuals were at the level of soul Douluo cultivators, and judging from their attire, they should be teachers from the academy. This time, they should have brought 4 students to obtain soul rings. Huo Yuhao felt that he could make some contact. If something was found to be wrong, his hairy legs, which were only 100 meters long in a second, wouldn't still be unable to escape. When Huo Yuhao approached, they all noticed him. The 7 of them stood up vigilantly, and 3 of the elderly felt the aura emanating from Huo Yuhao's body. Their originally calm faces immediately became solemn, and they frantically probed everything around them with their spiritual power. However, when they found out that they had achieved nothing, they all felt an urge to escape. Because they found out that Huo Yuhao was just a small soul warrior, without even a soul ring. If he could walk here, there must be a strong guardian. As a result, with their soul Douluo level cultivation, they couldn't detect any aura, which means that behind this little guy in front of them, at least there are powerful players with Douluo level titles, and even Super Douluo is not impossible. The princess is the most beloved sister of His Majesty the Emperor, and if something happens, they won't be able to fulfill their duties. They were startled, and Huo Yuhao was not wrong. Seeing the excitement on the other side, Huo Yuhao thought they were going to attack him. The genetic source in his body could condense on his legs and be ready to run away at any time. Junior Warrior, Fist Power 900 kilograms, 25 meters per second, Intermediate Warrior, Fist Power 2000 kilograms, 40 meters per second, Advanced Warrior, Fist Power 4000 kilograms, 60 meters per second, Junior General, Fist Power 8000 kilograms, 90 meters per second, Intermediate General, Fist Power 16,000 kilograms, 130 meters per second, Advanced General, Fist Power 32,000 kilograms, 180 meters per second, Junior God of War, Fist Power 64,000 kilograms, 340 meters per second, Intermediate God of War, Fist Power 128,000 kilograms, 460 meters per second, Advanced God of War, Fist Power 256,000 kilograms, 600 meters per second. The level of devouring will be posted every day, because the author directly selected a cultivation level of using force to showcase combat power. Even friends who have not watched devouring will not affect their reading. This book can be quickly pushed, not level blocked. If the protagonist wants revenge, they just need to enjoy it. It's too frustrating to be afraid and develop hundreds of chapters. Regarding the issue of the female lead, I really like Zhang Lishuan and have set up an interesting emotional line for her. Huo Yuhao will destroy Shrek, which can be said to be a sadistic relationship. Huo Xingling, normal love. There are only 2 in the main palace, while the others look good. Don't open the harem, dog head for safety. The word count for this book should be over 1 million words. I hope everyone likes it. End of this chapter.